Hello, guys, and welcome back to United Road. I'm your host Zohaib Saigal, and today I'll be dividing our players into different categories according to how good or bad they've been this season. So there are five categories: player of the season candidates, good, just enough, below par, and get out of my club. So I'll start with the player of the season candidates. But before I get into this, uh, the Premier League will not restart until 30th April at the earliest. Now it has got postponed from 2nd April to 30th April now, but there is a silver lining. Reports suggest that the season will restart after 30th April or whenever, but the season won't be voided. So that's a good news, but we'll have to wait for a long, long time now until the Premier League is back, and that it's just bad, right? I have nothing to say really. So another month, a month and a half without football, and anyways, so player of the season candidates, there are four players in this category. Um, Number four is McTominay. Now, he is my favorite player in the squad right now, and he's just amazing. All right, the thing which I like about him the most is that he's really passionate about this club. He cares for the badge, and that's something which you lack in young. That's something which young players lack these days. You won't see much players coming up who really care about the club, who aren't so passionate about the club they play for. And McTominay, he's one of our own. He's an academy graduate, and whenever he steps on the pitch, he makes sure he lives up to the expectation, and he is a captain material. Maybe later in the future, 2 3 years down the line, you might see him as a captain. Number three is Aaron Van Bissaka, our Spider-Man, and he's just been amazing this season. He's just signed for us this season, and he settled in brilliantly. And he has made the most tackles this season, and that has proved to be very important to us, very significant to us. We all remember the game against Man City at the Etihad and at Old Trafford. Sterling was in his pockets. I've said it in the Derby review that he had Sterling in his pocket in both the matches. He has amazing defensive qualities. Sometimes, you know, in the box, I feel a bit scared when he's going to attempt for a tackle because he likes making sliding tackles, and they aren't always it's always 50-50 in the box. A bit of miscalculation on his part, and that would result in a penalty. But he has been amazing overall, and I really think that he would really be considered as our player of the season. Number two and number one, I'm confused between them. I think it's a tie really. Fred and Marcus Rashford. Now, Fred, a lot of people would disagree with me, but I think he deserves to be our player of the season. With Pogba injured, he was the only shining light in our team, and as much he was pathetic last season. We all know that. We all thought that 50 million would be down the drain. I think we paid 50 million for him. Yeah, 50 million would be down the drain. But this season, he has completely, transformed into a brilliantly composed engine in our midfield. Whenever he receives the ball, he doesn't lack confidence. He's amazing, and we've started seeing him play those incisive passes now, and it's a joy to watch him. And his work rate is amazing. He keeps running throughout the pitch. He gives his all for the club, like McTominay, and so I think he might be a candidate for the player of the season. And Marcus Rashford, well, he's one of our. He's another academy graduate who needs to be considered for player of the season. He has what 14 goals and 5 assists in the league this season, and he. The thing about him is that the thing I like about him is that he has become consistent. All right, before he got injured, he was putting in good performances week in week out, and he really impressed me with the way he has developed himself. Sometimes he gets, it gets on his nerves a bit. The fact that he plays like Ronaldo. The way he plays, he tries to emulate Ronaldo, but we all know he can't be Ronaldo, right? Rashford is a different player, Ronaldo is a different player. He tries to copy Ronaldo, and whenever he tries to do that, he fails miserably. Sometimes, he manages to score those knuckle balls, but whenever he tries to be Marcus Rashford, whenever Rashford tries to be Marcus Rashford, he puts in a brilliant performance. And I think Fred and Marcus Rashford are, I think there's a tie between these two. But I think Fred has an edge over Rashford. I think Fred deserves to win the Player of the Season. He's been amazing. And let's get to the second category now. Enough with the Player of the Season. Now, the second category, good. Now, there are a lot of players in this category, and I think eight or nine players in this category. Most of our players have been good this season. So I'll start off with Mason Greenwood. He's another academy graduate. He's one of our own. He's 18 years old and he has proved himself in the Premier League, one of the toughest leagues in the world. Whenever he comes on as a substitute, whenever he starts, even, he has this brilliant ability. He he's a bit like Van Persie, the way he plays, left-footed, tries to finesse it into the bottom corner. And the best thing about Mason Greenwood is that he is omnipedal. So he can score with both, he can shoot with both his legs, and he can take free kicks with both his legs. He can take corners with both his legs. He can score penalties with both his legs. So Mason Greenwood has been amazing this season. Harry Maguire, our captain, slabhead, has also been amazing this season. He has really stabilized our defense. We were having a lot of defensive problems last season, and thanks to him, we have the second most clean sheets in Europe right now, and that is really surprising. It seems like I personally used to think that we concede every single game, but that's not the case because we have a good defense. He has stabilized the defense. The only team which has more clean sheets than us in Europe right now is PSG. They play in the Farmers League. There's no competition, so yeah, of course. But our defense has been amazing. Maguire and Lindelof. Lindelof has been good too. I mean, hasn't I don't really like Lindelof. He is a bit underrated, but everyone criticizes him a lot. I've seen a lot of fans criticize him. He doesn't deserve to get a lot of criticism, but he's just good enough. All right, I don't mind him in our defense, although there are he's not that physically strong. So against teams like Burnley and these teams who really like to play long balls over the top, he struggles. So in that case, Eric Bailly starts whenever he's fit because he's injured most of the time. But whenever he's fit, he's a good player. He's a bit reckless at times, but he has confidence. He does those stupid tricks inside the box which are a bit risky, but he manages to pull it off, so it's all right. So Eric Bailly, Greenwood, Maguire, Lindelof, Brandon Williams. He is also one of our own, one of our academy graduates, 18 years old, and he has been amazing too this season at left back. He has given Luke Shaw a run for his money. Brilliant. He has really, put in the competition at the left back spot, and that has made Luke Shaw to put in better performances so that he can retain his spot as left back. So Brandon Williams and Luke Shaw, both of them have been amazing. Luke Shaw too. I mean, there was after his injury for like 2 seasons, he wasn't putting in those good performances. But now I think he's back. He's really comfortable on possession. The thing about him is that he's a bit inconsistent, and he really he's not like Andy Robertson, who likes to orchestrate the attack. But that's the way Liverpool play, right? They like to play from the wings. We don't play like that. But whenever Luke Shaw gets the ball, he kind of disrupts the attacking rhythm. But he's a good player in terms of left back. As a left back, he knows how to defend. He can play as a centre back too. Whenever we had three at the back this season, whenever Ole tried to play three at the back, he was pretty comfortable. He did a decent job. Anthony Martial, how can I miss him? Look, I don't personally like Anthony Martial because he's a bit casual at times and his work rate doesn't really impress me. But in terms of scoring goals, he's done a good job, right? His strike rate ratio is good, commendable. But I don't really like him, but that's a personal opinion. I won't let it interfere with the stats. He has scored a lot of goals this season, and as I said, he's a bit casual, not particularly the traditional striker we need, But since we do not have a traditional striker except for Igalo, who has just recently signed for us, I think Martial did a pretty good job as a striker. Matic, he is settling in again. Inconsistency, yes, really inconsistent, but you have to consider his age as well. 32 years old. Now he's lost his legs. He doesn't run as fast as he used to, but in terms of he is a good presence in midfield. I think he stabilizes the midfield, and if we can have him as a backup next season as well, I hope he signs a contract for us so that next season we'll have a lot of options in midfield. So that would be good for us. Pogba has been injured most of the season. Now he always is this. He always causes controversy. I hate Pogba. I hate him. I hate his agent. I hate this player. Why? Because I just hate him. I hate both of them. Look, last week Pogba wanted to stay at this club because apparently he wanted to team up with Bruno Fernandes in midfield. Yesterday, reports suggest that he now wants to leave the club. Now, I don't know if it's about him or if it's about his agent Mino Raiola, but whatever it is, I hate both of them, right? The attitude is not quite right. Pogba doesn't deserve to play for this club. We signed him for 90 million. He has been here for 3 seasons now, and he's still trying to settle in. Bruno Fernandes, we just signed him, and look how effective he's been for us. Like Pogba, last season he was good, but most of his goals were penalties. But look, I know a lot of people will hate on me because I don't like Pogba, but that's just a personal opinion. But I've put him in the good category because he's been good enough for us. Daniel James has been good for us too. He's a bit, you know, plain, if I can say that. I can't really think of another word because he just has one trick in his. He always performs that one trick. He would run at the defender and then just change his direction because he has pace, and it is effective at times whenever we are counter attacking. Right? We saw that against City how effective he was. So James has been a good signing for us. He will improve in the seasons to come. James has been good. Juan Mata has been decent as well. Sergio Romero, best backup goalkeeper in the world. And I think I've covered all of them, have I? Yeah, I think that's it. Now, the third category is just enough, right? Good enough. Diego Dallo hasn't played much this season, was injured. He's just there. I won't rate him. I don't want to rank him given how he has performed this season because he hasn't played much. And the same is the case with Eric Bailly because he hasn't played much either. And I talked about him earlier. Both of them have been just good enough, they can improve. They're still young, both of them. So they've just been good enough. Now, below par, let me make this clear. Below par the players in this category are not bad players, alright? The fourth category is below par, and I've included David De Gea in this. Now, in my opinion, he has been arguably our best player in this decade because he has saved us innumerable number of times. Remember that game against Arsenal where he made 21 saves? Remember that game? Remember that game against City last season where he saved that header with Sergio Aguero, which any other goalkeeper in this world would have conceded? Remember the times? Remember, I can't even think of games right now. He's saved us so many times, but this season I think he has been below par. Now, particularly after the World Cup, his performances have gone down. That blunder against Spain was the first of many. And then again, the one against Barcelona in the Champions League, the goal which Lionel Messi scored after nutmegging Fred. I think he has been below par in these last 2 seasons, particularly this season. But I really like David De Gea. He is one of my favorite players in this team, and do I want him in this club next season? I don't know because we have Dean Henderson already, and I think he's ready to play for Man United. Now, if it's completely up to him, but if we sign De Gea next season, I wouldn't really mind, but keeping him would be a better option. But let's not get into whether we should sell him or keep him. David De Gea has been below par this season, and the fifth category is get out of my club. Now, the three players in this category are the ones which I hate. I hate them. I hate these players. I hate these three players more than Pogba. Now, you know how serious I am. I hate these three players more than Paul Pogba. Now, Jesse Lingard, I don't want you in my club. Just leave. Leave. We are not selling him. Why? Because he's English and he is our academy graduate. That's two of the only reasons why we aren't selling him. He earns a lot at this club and he brings nothing to this club. He is our academy graduate, but he's not good enough. He's one of our own, but he doesn't bring anything to this club, right? You can name only two good abilities that he has, and that is his finesse shot or maybe dribbling to some extent. And that's it. He brings nothing to this club, as I said, and we don't need him because we already have a lot of midfielders, and I don't want our midfield to get overloaded next season. So Lingard, maybe we'll sign Grealish and Madison, you never know. So it will get overloaded and we need to get rid of the deadwood. So Lingard needs to be sold next season. Another academy graduate, Andreas Pereira, same as Lingard, doesn't bring anything to this club. Puts in one good performance in 10 games, and that's all about him. Phil Jones, the greatest of all time. Chris Smalling was a bit better than Jones, and we sold him to Roma. We should have kept him and sold Jones permanently. Now, we don't know if Chris Smalling would be back. He was a bit decent, he would score for us at times. The one against Crystal Palace in a comeback, the one against Man City in a comeback. But Phil Jones, apart from scoring own goals, he doesn't do much. And he's just bad. He does. I think Newcastle are interested in Jones. Sell Jones to Newcastle. That's it. That's where he deserves to play. So Lingard, Pereira, and Jones need to get out of my club. Now there's a special mention. You might have noticed that I didn't name Bruno Fernandes in any of these categories. That's because he has just signed for us. Right? It's been 1 month. So I can't really name him in the player of the season candidate. He's not. You can't give him the player of the season candidates because he's played for 7 games for us, 8 games for us, 9 games for us. So he's been amazing, all right. He has completely transformed this team, but you really can't name him. You can't consider him for as a player of the season. Now he's been good, but I didn't want to include him in that category either because, as I said, he's just signed for us. So that's a special mention. Bruno Fernandes, amazing. I really like him, and I hope he keeps up with his good performances. And Odion Igalo just signed for us, scored a couple of goals. He's decent. We've signed him, for 6 months, if I'm not wrong. So he'll probably leave after this season. But I really think we need to make this deal permanent because if you don't sign any other striker, then I think Odion Igalo can be the perfect backup striker. Rashford on the wings, Martial, and maybe Sancho if he signs for us, and Igalo would be in the bench. So maybe in the EFL Cup or those competitions, small competitions, maybe against a small club, we can play him, alright. So he'll be a good backup striker for us. So Bruno Fernandes and Odion Igalo are special mentions. So I've pretty much named the entire squad. I've left out a few, Angel Gomez, Tahith Chong, because I didn't really know what to do with them because they haven't been good. They've just played a couple of games and I don't really think that I need to categorize them. So I think that's it with the categories. As I said, but now let's talk about Pogba for a minute. As I said, he wants to leave now apparently. Why does he want to leave? I don't know. You never know. That's Paul Pogba for you, and that's Mino Raiola for you. Both of them are toxic, and I don't want them at this club. Right? Just sell Pogba and never deal with Mino Raiola ever again because he's straight up the worst football agent this world has ever seen. So there is a special episode coming up about Paul Pogba, but that's it for today. I have pretty much categorized the entire squad, and yeah, that's it for today. I'll see you guys in a couple of days with another video. Try not to lose your mind without football. I'm trying to, but it's tough. I'm struggling. But let's hope football is back soon. We'll have to wait till 30th April. But, maybe it will be worth the wait. Maybe we'll see United finish third once the season restarts. So let's just be patient right now. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon.